So I'll say something on a serious note about what happened on Saturday. I talked to President Trump. It was about 12:30 a.m. that night. He was still up, as confident as ever, unshakable. But think about actually what happened. I want to rewind to the events. You have a Democrat media that has called a Republican president a tyrant, a dictator, said it would be the end of the United States of America as we know it, said he would make us a laughingstock on the global stage. And those are exact quotes, actually, of what they said about Abraham Lincoln. Saw the Lincoln hat. You might have wanted me to remember that. Those were words that the Democrat-led media said about the first ever Republican president before he was shot and assassinated in 1865. So think about that in the moment that we live in today. We came within, Lincoln actually spoke at this convention. It was at a Republican convention. It was at a state convention, Republican state convention, I think in 1858, when he said a house divided cannot stand. That was on the eve of a nation that was on the brink of civil war.
That's right.
I think we came within a hair's breadth of a second civil war in this country, and we avoided it.
Yes.
And I think it's because God intervened. And I believe that he has given us a chance to answer his call.
Amen.
And I think that's the moment we live in right now. Is the hard part is we are in a kind of war in this country.
We are.
But the enemy is not our fellow citizens.
No.
Actually. It is an ideology.
That's right.
And so this is the work we have cut out ahead of us, is how do we win this war while still viewing our neighbors as our fellow citizens and not as our enemy combatants? Are we up to that challenge? I believe we are. And that's what I'm asking of each of you in the next few days. I'm angry, like so many of you are, about what happened on Saturday night. It's unconscionable. That's not the United States of America. But President Trump's doing his part. How do we do ours? And the question is, how do people like you, Drew, in positions of leadership, how do every one of you, you're each leaders in your own right, how do we channel that anger to actually not fight against something, but to fight for something, to fight for reviving this country? And I think this is going to be our last chance to do it. I think this is a last chance that God has given us to do what otherwise may have been at an end. Centimeters from an end 3 nights ago. We've been given a second chance.
Yeah.
It's up to us and step up and actually use it. To say, there's certain, not by compromising on our principles. There'll be that temptation. There'll be those who say that, hey, we need to modify our principles, modify what we stand for. And they're coming from a good place of national unity. No, I care deeply about national unity. But the way we're going to unite this country isn't through some fake unity. Isn't through showing up in the 50-yard line and say compromise on our principles and hold hands and sing Kumbaya. That's not how we're going to do it.
That's right.
We're going to unite this country by standing for the principles that unite, or even political party. It's not Democrats versus Republicans. It's 1776 in this country. And if we recognize that, then we're going to make sure it's not 1860 in this country. That's what 2024 is about. This is going to be a historic convention. I think our grandchildren are going to look at those images of Donald Trump on Saturday night. Our great-grandchildren will be looking at that, I hope, as the moment that we actually woke up as a country. And what a gift it is to be able to go through. I was in 11th grade when the 2 planes hit the Twin Towers.
Right.
I remember I was in U.S. history class, believe it or not, in 11th grade when another teacher stuck his head in and said they got us, they knocked down the second tower. That for that moment we at least paused and remembered who we were as Americans.
Exactly.
We now have the opportunity to remember that when, for a centimeter's difference of God's intervention, we actually have a chance to reflect on that without going through a tragedy. What a gift that is as a country. So it's up to us. Is the left going to do it? The case is strong to blame the left and the media and the Democrat machine. And that's what they're going to be doing. They're already blaming Trump, and look at what the media has already been saying. He was responsible for it somehow with his rhetoric. And so we're not going to play their game. We have a chance to take the road less traveled, and the road less traveled to say, we're not here as Republicans. This week, we're here as Americans. And if we revive that, our country's best days are still going to be ahead of us. Thank you, guys. I appreciate it. Good to see you, my man.
We got buses, kiddo.
Vice President.
You keep celebrating. You keep celebrating the legacy of our main man right there.
You've been sending the text. I said, you, Vivek, Ramaswamy.
Thank you.
I want you to see you. I want you to be the vice president. I really.
I'm going to serve this country in whatever way we're called
and you
to.
would do a good job. Vice president of the United States.
We're going to do. What I promise you is we're going to fight for this country.
Do it.
One seat or another.
Do it.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Hey.